Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're going to be diving deep into the mind of Elon Musk.
Sounds fascinating.
It is, and we're doing it all from a single source, a YouTube video called It Will Give You Goosebumps.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's from the channel Motivation Madness, and basically what they've done is they've pulled together all these snippets from different Elon Musk interviews over the years, and they've kind of created this really raw and unfiltered look at his thoughts on success,
Right.
hard work, and even like what it means to be happy.
So it's sort of a glimpse behind the curtain.
Exactly. Buckle up because we're about to get a glimpse into the philosophy of someone who's building rockets, redefining transportation, and, well, just generally shaking things up.
Someone who's not afraid to challenge the status quo. I like that.
And the video, it wastes no time. Jumps right into Musk's infamous work ethic. 80 to 100-hour work weeks.
Whoa.
I know, right?
That's a lot.
Now, I know you might be thinking, that's insane. But before we judge, I think it's crucial to understand the context here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this isn't just some like random hustle culture mantra.
No, not at all.
This is the reality of leading companies that are pushing the boundaries of innovation. I mean, think about like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. They were also known for their intense dedication and incredibly long hours. It seems to come with the territory of building something truly groundbreaking.
Yeah, it really does make you wonder, though, what drives someone to push themselves that hard? And it wasn't just the long hours, right? The video also touches on something called a short seller attack that Tesla faced.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was a challenging time for the company.
So can you maybe explain that a little bit for people who might not be familiar with it?
Yeah, so basically imagine powerful forces actively betting against your company's success. They're essentially trying to drive the stock price down.
Wow.
And make it harder to, attract talent.
Yeah.
Secure funding. Even sell your product.
It's like they're actively trying to sabotage you.
Yeah, basically. And that's exactly what Musk was up against with this short seller attack. And it was relentless. Like, it directly impacted Tesla's ability to operate and grow.
It sounds incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And yet, Musk not only navigated that pressure, he thrived despite it.
Yeah, he
It
did.
really says something about his resilience and determination.
For sure. I mean, that's a testament to his, strength and commitment to his vision.
Right. And this brings us to another really captivating aspect of the video, Musk's almost obsessive focus on manufacturing. There's this really striking quote where he claims, "I think I know more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive on Earth." Now, that's a bold statement.
It is a bold statement.
Yeah.
But I think you have to listen to how he backs it up.
You're right.
Yeah.
And it would be easy to dismiss it as arrogance, but then the video goes on to show his experience on the Tesla factory floor. He talks about sleeping under his desk,
Wow.
working alongside his team, even smelling like metal dust every morning.
Really?
For 3 years straight.
That's dedication.
It's incredible. That level of hands-on involvement is so rare for someone in his position. He could easily stay in a boardroom delegating tasks.
Yeah, exactly.
But he chose to be right there in the trenches with his team during what he calls 3 years of hell.
You have to remember, at that time, Tesla was really struggling, like on the ragged edge of bankruptcy. This wasn't some motivational tactic. It was sheer necessity.
It wasn't about optics. It was about survival.
Exactly.
So it's not just about putting in the hours. It's about leading by example, about sharing the burden, the hardships with your team.
It's about showing up, being present.
Yeah.
And think about the impact that has on team morale.
Totally.
When your leader is willing to get their hands dirty right alongside you to experience the same struggles, it creates a sense of camaraderie.
Oh, I'm sure.
Shared purpose. That can be incredibly powerful, especially when you're facing what seem like insurmountable challenges.
Yeah.
It's about demonstrating that deep commitment to the mission, a willingness to do whatever it takes to succeed.
You know, it makes you rethink this whole concept of leadership, doesn't it? It's not just about giving orders from a distance. It's about being present.
Yeah.
About inspiring your team through your actions.
Absolutely.
It's this blend of like bold vision and gritty hands-on execution that seems to define Musk's approach.
That's a good way to put it.
And speaking of bold visions, this deep dive wouldn't be complete without exploring Musk's philosophy on risk, right? This whole idea of pushing boundaries and defying expectations ties directly into one of his most famous quotes. If the outcome is important enough, Even if the probability of success is low, one should still do it.
Right, and I think that statement really encapsulates his approach to ventures like SpaceX and Tesla.
Exactly.
They were, and to some extent still are, considered incredibly risky endeavors.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was willing to bet everything to
Yeah.
face the very real possibility of failure because he believed so strongly in the potential rewards. Not just for himself, but for humanity as a whole.
But there's this deeper purpose behind those risks, isn't there? It's not just about pushing boundaries for the sake of it.
Right. It's about making a difference.
He emphasizes this idea of being useful,
Yes.
of making a positive contribution to society.
Yeah, absolutely. He constantly asks, are you contributing more than you consume? And this question goes beyond just work and career.
Right.
It's bigger than that. It challenges us to examine our overall impact on the world. Are we adding value, creating something meaningful, or are we simply taking from the system without giving back?
That's a powerful question for all of us to consider, no matter our field or profession.
Absolutely. It's something to reflect on.
It really is. It makes you confront your own motivations. Think about the legacy you're leaving behind.
Definitely. And this brings us to another key takeaway from the video: Musk's insatiable appetite for knowledge.
He really does seem to devour information.
He does. He's reading widely, exploring diverse fields, engaging with people from all walks of life.
Yeah. It's this constant pursuit of learning that fuels his innovation. Right?
Yes, absolutely. And it drives his thinking.
It's not just about being an expert in one narrow field.
Yeah.
Musk is saying that having that broad base of knowledge, what he calls general knowledge, allows you to connect ideas from different areas and come up with truly innovative solutions.
Exactly. It's like having this mental map of the whole knowledge landscape, which opens up so many more possibilities. And he also emphasizes this idea of what he calls peripheral exploration.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So it's about venturing outside of your comfort zone, exploring areas that might seem unrelated to your main focus because you never know where inspiration might strike.
Right. You never know where those connections are going to come from.
Exactly.
You know, that really resonates with me. It's so easy to get stuck in our own little bubbles, but stepping outside of those familiar boundaries can be incredibly enriching, both personally and professionally. It's about cultivating that childlike curiosity, that thirst for knowledge that drives us to explore and discover.
I love that.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Yeah.
How can you cultivate curiosity and broaden your own knowledge base?
Right.
What steps can you take to become a more active learner in your own life?
Those are fantastic questions for our listeners to ponder.
Right. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, let's shift gears a bit and explore a more personal side of Elon Musk. His reflections on happiness, love, and finding meaning in work.
This is where it gets interesting.
This is where the video gets surprisingly introspective.
Yeah, it's kind of a different side of him.
It is. And it provides this really fascinating contrast to the often idealized image of a successful entrepreneur. There's this incredibly candid moment where Musk admits that even with all his accomplishments, he's only medium happy.
Wow. Medium happy.
Yeah. Can you imagine achieving such extraordinary things
It's hard to imagine.
and still feeling like something's missing?
Right.
It makes you question that whole equation of success equals happiness, doesn't it?
It really does. And then it gets even more intriguing when he starts to kind of delve into the relationship between work and happiness. He actually suggests that, love of work can at best make one and a halfway happy.
Whoa.
Like he
Unless that
said,
quote really struck me.
he's like, there are degrees of happiness. It's not just a binary state of being happy or not.
Yeah.
There's a spectrum of experience.
Right.
And it seems like he's still figuring it all out, just like the rest of
Like
it.
we all are.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out this whole happiness thing.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the mind of Elon Musk. We just left off with Musk's surprisingly candid reflections on happiness and the idea that maybe, just maybe, work isn't the be-all and end-all of a fulfilling life.
Right. And it gets even more interesting when he's asked about his biggest challenge in life.
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be, something about rocket science or building electric cars.
Right. Like some super technical challenge.
Right. But his answer, it's incredibly insightful.
Oh, yeah.
For anyone, not just entrepreneurs. He talks about the importance of having a corrective feedback loop.
Okay. Now, that might sound a little technical,
Yeah.
but it's actually a really simple yet powerful concept. It's about being open to honest feedback.
Even when it's tough to hear.
Exactly. Even if it's critical, even if it stings a little, it's so easy to surround ourselves with people who tell us what we want to hear.
Especially when we're successful.
Especially then, You're at the top of your game, everyone's praising you.
Yeah.
It's like living in an echo chamber. You only hear your own ideas reflected back at you.
Right, and you lose touch with reality.
Exactly. And that's what Musk is warning against. He emphasizes the need to actively seek out diverse perspectives, be challenged in our thinking, to be willing to admit when we're wrong.
Yeah. It's about constantly striving to be less wrong, as he puts it. And that requires a willingness to step outside of our comfort zones and confront our own biases.
So sure. So it's not just about surrounding yourself with yes people.
No.
It's about cultivating this culture of honest feedback, of constructive criticism, even if it's uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And this ties into another important point Musk makes, the dangers of wishful thinking.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It's about recognizing that reality doesn't always conform to our desires. Ignoring those inconvenient truths can lead to, disastrous consequences.
Yeah, it's like burying your head in the sand, hoping the problem will just magically disappear.
Exactly. And Musk really emphasizes the importance of being grounded in reality, facing facts head on, even when they're unpleasant. It's about making decisions based on data.
Right.
Evidence, not just on what we want to believe.
I like that. It's a very data-driven approach. And this focus on truth-seeking, constantly questioning assumptions, that's at the core of his scientific approach to problem solving.
It's about acknowledging our own limitations, our own potential for bias,
Right.
and actively seeking out information that challenges our preconceived notions. It's a powerful mindset, and it's something we can all apply in our own lives, whether we're running a company or just navigating our own personal challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being open to new information and being willing to adjust your course based on that new information is crucial for success in any area.
Right. Now, shifting gears a bit,
Okay.
there's this really inspiring moment in the video where Musk is speaking to a group of young people.
Yeah.
And he calls them the magicians of the 21st century, urges them to, don't let anything hold you back. Imagination is the limit.
I love that.
It's such a powerful message of empowerment.
It is. It speaks to this potential of human ingenuity, this belief that we have the power to solve even the most complex problems if we dare to dream big and push the boundaries of what's possible.
Exactly. He sees innovation as this key to progress, and he's encouraging young people to embrace their creativity and challenge the status quo.
And this belief in the power of youth,
Yeah.
it's deeply intertwined with his views on education. He emphasizes the importance of fostering curiosity, of nurturing this love of learning that extends beyond the confines of, traditional classrooms.
Yeah.
He's a strong advocate for lifelong learning, constantly seeking out new knowledge, exploring diverse fields.
Right. So it's not just about getting good grades or landing a high-paying job. It's about cultivating that genuine thirst for knowledge, that desire to understand the world around us and our place within it.
Exactly. And this brings us back to his own, entrepreneurial journey. He acknowledges that, the path he's chosen isn't for everyone.
Right. It's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not. He actually warns aspiring entrepreneurs that, it requires immense dedication, resilience, and a tolerance for risk.
Yeah. He doesn't sugarcoat it at all.
No, he doesn't. He describes it as this relentless pursuit.
Yeah.
Requiring long hours, constant problem solving, and the ability to withstand setbacks and failures along the way.
He even says you have to basically prepare to work constantly from when you wake up to when you go to sleep.
Wow.
That's intense.
It is intense. But for those who are driven by a strong sense of purpose, who are willing to put in the hard work and sacrifice, he believes the rewards can be immeasurable.
So it's about finding work that aligns with your passions, with your values, with your desire to make a meaningful contribution.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your skills and interests intersect with a genuine need in the world.
It's about finding your purpose and pursuing it relentlessly. And speaking of making a meaningful contribution, Musk goes into some detail about the missions behind his companies.
Yeah.
He describes Tesla as, accelerating sustainable energy.
Right.
SpaceX as ensuring the long-term survival of humanity.
Whoa.
And Neuralink as helping to solve brain injuries and existential risk with AI.
It's fascinating how he frames these companies, not just as businesses.
Right. There's a bigger purpose.
But as vehicles for tackling some of humanity's most pressing challenges. It's like he sees them as almost philanthropic endeavors.
Yeah.
Driven by this deep desire to make a positive impact on the world.
It all ties back to his earlier point about being useful. He's not just accumulating wealth for the sake of it.
Right.
He's using his resources and intellect to address problems that have the potential to shape the future of our species.
It's a bold vision.
It is.
And it challenges us to think about how we can use our own skills and talents to contribute to a better world.
Absolutely. And it's not just about these grand gestures or, world-changing inventions.
Right. It can be much simpler than that.
It can be as simple as volunteering in your community, supporting causes you care about, or just, being kinder and more compassionate in your interactions with others.
Just simple acts of kindness.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter how small.
Yeah. We all have that power within us. And when it comes to making decisions, especially those involving risk, Musk relies heavily on a scientific approach.
He does.
He talks about weighing the importance of the outcome against the potential risks involved, using data and evidence to guide his choices.
Right. So even his most audacious ventures are grounded in a logical framework, a calculated assessment of potential benefits and drawbacks. It's not about just blindly leaping into the unknown. It's about making informed decisions based on the best available information.
And he makes this really fascinating point.
What's that?
About inaction sometimes being the riskiest choice of all. He argues that, failing to act, especially when faced with these urgent challenges, can have dire consequences, even when the path forward seems uncertain.
That's a good point. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest risk lies in maintaining the status quo, in clinging to those familiar patterns, even when they're no longer serving us or the world around us.
Yeah, it's a call to action. A challenge to step outside our comfort zones and embrace the uncertainty that comes with pursuing meaningful change.
I like that. Embrace the uncertainty.
Yeah.
He also delves into his philosophy on building a better future, emphasizing the importance of moving toward a sustainable energy economy.
Yeah.
He acknowledges the complexities of our current energy system.
Right. It's not a simple problem.
It's not. The need for a balanced approach that addresses our present needs while paving the way for a cleaner, more sustainable future.
And he's not like demonizing the fossil fuel industry, but he's advocating for this pragmatic transition, this gradual shift towards renewable energy sources that takes into account the economic and technological realities of our time.
Right. It's about finding practical solutions that work in the real world.
Right.
And this pragmatism is also evident in his leadership style. He talks about the importance of focusing on the details, of understanding the intricacies of manufacturing processes, of getting your hands dirty and working alongside your team.
Yeah.
He recounts those intense years on the Tesla factory floor.
Oh, yeah. Sleeping under his desk,
Yeah.
smelling like metal dust every morning.
Right. Not because it was glamorous or easy, but because it was necessary.
Right. It was about demonstrating his commitment to the mission, to sharing the burden with his team, and making sure every detail was executed flawlessly.
It's a powerful reminder that success often involves unglamorous hard work, relentless problem solving, and a willingness to, get your hands dirty, both literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
It's about leading by example, inspiring your team through your actions, and never losing sight of the ultimate goal.
And this brings us to another really crucial aspect of Musk's philosophy.
What's that?
The importance of having a non-zero-sum mindset.
Oh, interesting.
He believes that collaboration, not cutthroat competition, is the key to creating a better future for everyone.
Right. So it's about recognizing that the economic pie can grow, that there's enough abundance to go around, and that win-win solutions are possible. He contrast this with the zero-sum mentality, where one person's gain is always another person's loss. He sees that as, a destructive force that leads to conflict and ultimately hinders progress.
Right. So it's about shifting our perspective from scarcity to abundance, from
Yes.
competition to collaboration.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing our interconnectedness and working together to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
I love that. And this collaborative spirit, it's also evident in his approach to hiring. He reveals that he always asks potential employees to, tell him the story of their life and the decisions they've made along the way.
So he's not just looking for technical skills.
No, he's looking for individuals with, self-awareness, a clear sense of purpose, and the ability to articulate their journey. It's about understanding their motivations, their values, and how their experiences have shaped their perspective.
Yeah. And he's also really interested in their problem-solving abilities.
Oh, for sure.
He asks them to describe the most difficult challenges they've faced and how they overcame them.
Because he believes that people who have truly solved problems, understand the details, can articulate their thought process,
Yes.
and are able to apply their knowledge to new situations.
Right. He's not just looking for someone who can follow instructions.
No.
He's looking for someone who can think critically and adapt to new challenges.
Exactly. He's looking for individuals who are not just capable, but also adaptable and eager to learn and grow. Now, with all this talk of success, it's easy to forget that even someone like Elon Musk faces challenges and uncertainties.
Right.
There's a really insightful moment in the video where he's asked about being labeled the world's richest person. And, he acknowledges that some monarchs or rulers might technically be wealthier,
Right.
but their wealth is kind of harder to measure. It shows a degree of humility and a recognition that wealth is a complex concept, not easily defined by, net worth alone.
And he almost seems a little detached from the label itself,
Yeah.
focusing more on the impact he can make with his resources rather than the personal satisfaction of being, at the top of the wealth pyramid.
Right. He even talks about the psychological challenges of having his net worth fluctuate by billions of dollars
I can't even imagine.
on any given day.
Right.
It's a mind-boggling concept.
For most of us to even fathom. But he shares that what truly keeps him up at night is that pressure of knowing that every decision he makes, it impacts his companies, the people who work for him, and potentially even the future of humanity.
That's a heavy burden to carry.
It is. He talks about working to the edge of sanity.
Wow.
Because every hour, every minute of his thinking has $1 million impact on Tesla.
That's a level of responsibility that very few people will ever experience. It speaks to the immense weight he carries on his shoulders and the intense pressure he puts on himself to succeed.
Yeah. And despite all that pressure, he maintains this focus on creating a better future.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that he doesn't aim to, disrupt for the sake of disrupting, but rather to take actions that are most likely to lead to positive change.
Right. It's not about shaking things up just for the thrill of it. It's about using innovation as a tool to solve problems, to improve lives, to create a more sustainable and equitable world for future generations.
And he also offers some really valuable advice for dealing with difficult problems.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Emphasizing the importance of understanding the root causes and addressing them directly rather than just treating the symptoms.
It's about digging deeper, asking why multiple times, challenging assumptions, seeking out the underlying causes of a problem, and developing solutions that address those core issues.
Exactly.
Rather than just applying Band-Aids to those surface-level symptoms.
Hey listeners! Looking to boost your resilience and create a life aligned with your deepest values? Then follow Toughness Motivation on Facebook for daily inspiration and practical tips. And don't miss out, subscribe to our YouTube channel for powerful videos on building a balanced, purpose-driven life. Whether you're tackling challenges or striving for personal growth, we're here to support your journey. So hit follow on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube to stay connected. Let's get stronger together.
Welcome back. It's amazing how much ground we've covered in this deep dive into the mind of Elon Musk. We've explored his relentless work ethic, his obsession with manufacturing, his calculated approach to risk, and his insatiable thirst for knowledge.
And yet, what stands out most to me is his surprising vulnerability when discussing happiness. It's a side of him we rarely see in the public eye.
You're right. It's easy to get caught up in the narrative of success and achievement. But Musk's reflections, they remind us that even the most brilliant minds grapple with those questions of meaning. and personal fulfillment. Remember that quote, where he admits to being only medium happy. It's a stark contrast to the often glamorized image of a successful entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And it challenges this whole idea that once we achieve a certain level of success, happiness will just magically follow. Musk seems to suggest that it's, much more nuanced than that. He even says there are degrees of happiness. It's not just this binary on-off switch.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, what constitutes a truly fulfilling life? Is it all about work and ambition, or is there something more?
This is where Musk's reflections get really interesting. He seems to imply that finding love and genuine connection with others is a crucial part of the equation. He acknowledges that his intense focus on work may have come at a cost to his personal life.
It's almost like he's acknowledging a trade-off, isn't it? That perhaps his relentless pursuit of, changing the world has in some ways limited his ability to experience those simple joys of human connection.
It's a fascinating paradox, and it raises some really important questions for all of us. How do we strike that balance between pursuing our ambitions and nurturing our relationships? Is it even possible to have it all?
Those are questions worth pondering, and I think they speak to the universality of Musk's struggles. Despite his extraordinary achievements, it's a reminder that at the end of the day, we're all human, and we all share this fundamental desire for connection, for meaning, for happiness.
And that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. It's not just a glimpse into the mind of a brilliant innovator. It's a reflection on the human condition, the challenges we all face as we navigate our own paths to success, fulfillment, and happiness.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what's the final takeaway, the thought you want to leave our listeners with?
I think the key takeaway here is this. Elon Musk is a complex and fascinating individual, and while we can learn a lot from his insights and experiences, it's important to remember that there's no single formula for success or happiness. What works for one person may not work for another. It's about finding our own unique paths, our own balance between ambition and personal fulfillment.
Absolutely. And Musk's story, it encourages us to be bold in our pursuits, to embrace risk, to never stop learning and growing. But it also reminds us to stay grounded, to seek honest feedback, and to nurture those human connections that give our lives meaning.
He challenges us to ask ourselves those big questions. Are we contributing more than we consume? Are we pursuing our passions with purpose? Are we building a better future, not just for ourselves, but for humanity as a whole?
If this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, we highly recommend checking out the full YouTube video. It will give you goosebumps. It's a thought-provoking journey into the mind of one of our most influential figures. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep striving to make a positive impact on the world.